having a quick look at the mast crutch for our Ross 780. It's a telescoping mast crutch. We needed this because the keel for our Ross sits out the top of our boat a little bit, so we can't actually plant the mast in the mast base without actually lifting the mast up. It's got to come up quite a fair amount in the stern end. So we're up, I think it's close to 3 meters. I'll chuck a measure on it, but it's close to 3 meters. The unextended height will just be a rough measure. Sorry, handheld, so it's probably going to go all over the place here. So our unextended height is about 1.8 meters there. So 6 foot. It extends just, I've got this set of pulleys, so it's at a 3-to-1, and it's just got this clam cleat like to lock it off. If we're feeling particularly insecure, if it's a windy day, something similar to that, you can just tie a knot in it, like tie a knot in the rope so it can't go through. But you make sure you cinch it down nicely. The other thing you could do is just run a half hitch around the actual tubular steel. Aluminium, it's made of aluminium. I had this professionally welded. There were, about 4 welds in the whole thing. So we've got the welds here and the welds for the H piece that sits into the bottom of the tube here. So you stand it up when it's on the boat. It stands up on a H stand with an upright. That same one is the upright for the H on the boat. It just stands directly on, so you just pull it off at the end, and then we've got another crutch that we transport with that's a bit lower. I'll do it. So just pull it up. The more weight, the better on the clam cleat. Like it actually, you can see if I push down here, the clam cleat only goes on tighter. So we end up with a crotch about that tall. I'll chuck a measure on that. I'll write it down for that one though. So our extended length is 2.7 meters, so just on 9 foot. The outer piece, like I used a hole saw first to cut out a circular hole there, and then just used an aluminium cutting disc on an angle grinder. Marked out the sides, it's about 5 mil, maybe 6 mil. You want a fair bit of meat there just to provide rigidity for the piece. And then this has just been cut out the entire way up. So to cut out this track, I used an angle grinder to cut the straight line. This was just I think is a small circular saw, or perhaps a spade bit. Like it's quite easy to cut because it's aluminium. So you cut out that track. Same on the other end. Circular saw or spade bit or something, just to get roughly that diameter that you need there, and then just angle grinder with an aluminium cutting piece, and just a straight cut through. Now, very easy. It cut much straighter than I thought it would, and it was like a 2-minute job. It actually came out very quickly. I tapped the thread here This is attached in the same way, it's just tapped thread. We check that before we raise it every time. This one didn't quite give us enough height. Like, the idea was to keep the maximum amount of this material inside the outer sleeve, just so it's nice and strong, it doesn't break out at all. What else do we have? It's quite easy to raise. And to drop it, just hold it up. That wheel helps support it, and it just comes down under its own weight. These wheels were purchased off Amazon. They're a skateboard wheel, I think, or a scooter wheel. Very cheap, $30. Stainless steel bolt. If I had my time again, I probably wouldn't even worry about making this out of aluminium. I'd probably just make it out of steel and paint it. And the reason is that because aluminium is so soft, like, it tends to dig into itself, and it's wearing itself out a little bit, and it sometimes gets stuck when you're lowering it under the pressure of the weight of the mast. So you have to sort of give it a bit of a pull towards you. And see my hands, well, that's all just worn aluminium from rubbing over time. We keep an eye on it, make sure it's not wearing through to the point where it's broken. Another feature of this wheel, spins well, but also has lights. You know, if you can, why not? Fun for dark mast dropping. If the mast doesn't stand well, we sometimes have to, like, we have these lines, like lines secured here, so there's two on each side, one forward, one backwards, both go down to the tow rail. So two lines either side, forward, aft, tow rail, nice and tight, nice strong secure knots. And we find that if the mast doesn't sit in the mast foot well, like we can't get the pin through, we find we can just use these side ropes and just pull on them, and pulling on them will pull the stand to either side, and that'll just give us that small amount of movement we need to get the pin in. It's usually not much, and sometimes we get lucky and it just goes straight in, and we can cheer and quickly move on. Other times we've been there for a couple of minutes trying to figure out which way to go is more the problem rather than how far to go. It's just you can't quite see with the pin which side to go to. 40 by 40 outer, 32 by 32 inner, and I believe they're 3mm aluminium. Best bet would be to go to your local aluminium supplier. Just get, like, 40 by 40 is a good size. I don't think you'd go much bigger than that, but get your outer, try a piece of inner, and just make sure it sleeves inside and has the maximum thickness of tube wall you can get, just for that strength. If you want to get as high as you can, like, that's about, like, I reckon at least 35, 40 centimeters that's still sitting inside, and I think that's about the minimum you'd want still inserted. Originally I was going right up to that top piece, but the sheaves got in the way. You can see they're a little bit crossed over here even. So we're finding we can go to probably about here, and we're still okay to get the mast up there. Like, it'll still go over the bit of the keel that it has to. Alright, let's go one more time down and then pack it away, I think. And get that quick footage of over at the boat. Now the video cut out a second ago, but these 2 welds plus, let me think, 1, 2, 3 welds on the boat, like 3 welds on the H piece, and that's all that was welded. The rest I just did at home. I did get them to drill that out because I just didn't have a drill that could do that. So I think the total cost was about $400, including all the welding. The previous owner of our boat had one of these in his kit. This was in the kit left over. This rope was also left over from his kit. I did buy that stainless steel through bolt, and I did buy, actually no, I didn't buy this, but this eyepiece that was left over from something I was doing on the roof rack of my car. And these D-shackles, they're all original equipment from our boat. So it's pretty cheap. The internal piece on this H is 40 centimeters, I believe. So it sleeves in 40 centimeters. Yeah. And really you want to make the H part as wide as you can, as long as you can. I'm pretty sure I recall making it the same dimensions both ways, so about, what are we, let's get there, 56, sorry, lack of hands, 56 by 56, and we had to keep inside the channel, like the drain gutter here, to keep it stable. And this crutch we have in the boat for transport is just a simple, like, horn piece, and just lined with HDPE that I really need to cut off, but it's been 2 years and I haven't. So that HDPE I just bent around, heated it up and bent it. And here's an idea, like, so we clip these ropes on, we can just clip it onto the raising mast crutch. So we clip it on and we make sure that one goes forward, one goes aft, and with plenty of gap between them for maximum support. And we move this right up to as far forward as it can go, like right in here, just to, yeah, it gives it a bit more height, because we do need to get over the keel that's up there.